hey Jim. Thanks again for agreeing to teach me all about our new bio-based drain service. I'm getting ready to meet with my first customer tomorrow. So how much does it cost, and how much will my customer save?
Whoa, hold on, Mike. I know you're eager to get to the point, but let's do a little background information first, just in case the customer asks a little more than how much will it cost, how much will I save?
All right, you make a good point. So tell me everything. I'm ready.
Okay, Mike. Well, how about this? Why don't we take a look at our basic operation and equipment found in an industrial kitchen or restaurant, and then the value of our drain service will start to make sense. This 3-compartment sink is where a lot of the action is. They use this to do any dishes by hand, or all the dishes if they don't have one of these. Now, typically they use a dishwasher for glasses, silverware, and plates. And drains are important because, well, like the sink gets the grease off the plates, the drains get the grease from the walls and the floor. There's a few other things to look at, like beverage and ice drains. They also get clogged.
There's a lot more to a restaurant or kitchen operation than I realized.
Yeah, the restaurant and kitchen managers have a lot to deal with that they can see. Unfortunately, it's what they can't see, like drain problems, which may be more disruptive, unsanitary, or costly to them than they'd ever realize. I mean, the grease that gets washed off the plates goes down the drains, immediately starts to cool off, and then begins collecting in the drain lines.
That sounds bad.
Well, it is bad because it leads to a buildup in those lines that provide a feeding and breeding ground for drain flies. And that causes a foul odor. I mean, eventually there's a complete blockage, and then black water comes up through the drains, causing unsanitary conditions and makes the restaurant smell horrible. Now, most cities are required to close any restaurant due to health hazards because of the unsanitary condition. This can cost a restaurant thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to one episode. Not to mention the damage to the reputation, which is everything to a restaurant. So this is how that how much will it cost me, how much will I save question gets answered.
So how are they dealing with the problems today? I mean, it looks like they just pour bleach down the drain.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, it's a short-term fix for long-term problems. The odor will be worse than ever, and the flies will be back.
Why does that happen?
The bleach kills the beneficial bacteria that are working hard to eliminate the grease and rotting matter. So you see, the good guys, which eliminate the odor, are near the surface because they need the oxygen to live. The anaerobic odor-causing bacteria remain below the surface, and although the bad guys help eliminate waste too, they're much slower and they give off this sulfurous odor.
Like any other quick fix, it's quick without much fix.
Correct, and it won't be long before you're calling in a plumber to clean the line and clear the blockage, which can be really expensive. And I mean, blockages are unpredictable. You know, most of our customers tell us that they happen at the busiest times and they're very inconvenient and disruptive.
So the plumber can talk them into a monthly or quarterly service contract. Ah, this is where I can save my customers some money and show them a service that pays for itself.
Well, you know what? I think you're getting it, man.
So are those the only options? I mean, putting bleach or other stuff down the drain or calling a plumber?
No, you'll actually probably find people who use enzymes.
Enzymes, that sounds technical.
It sounds technical, but enzymes basically liquefy grease by heating it up with a chemical reaction. You see, grease floats, so it flows downstream. Eventually, it solidifies, settles, and then bonds with other grease particles. So, really, you're just moving the problem. This is why cities have banned the use of enzymes, because it just moves the problem into the city's lines.
So how are BioStim's products different?
Well, have you ever heard the term bioremediation?
I don't think so. Bioremediation? That's a mouthful.
Okay, yeah, I know, it's a big word, but think of it this way. Bio is short for biological, which means occurring naturally. And remediation is...
I got it. Remediation is another word for remedy or solution. So in other words, your big word simply means a natural remedy.
Right. And one form of bioremediation is basically bacteria that digests and converts waste into harmless substances. Do you remember the BP oil spill in Gulf of Mexico?
Sure.
Well, they basically used bacteria to help clean up the oil. You see, the bacteria digest the oil and converted it into carbon dioxide and water, harmless substances.
Aren't kitchens afraid of bacteria? I mean, isn't that like Salmonella, E. coli, Listeria?
Now you're getting ahead of me. Yes, those are really bad bacteria in the food industry, but there's a lot of strains of bacteria that are great in the world. Just like scientists have decided the best bacteria to make coffee, chocolate cake, yogurt, and your favorite cheese, the BioStim scientists have selected the best strains to digest the grease in our customers' drain lines and convert it into carbon dioxide and water. See,
Scientists figured out that the best way to determine the bacteria strain to solve a problem is to look at the strains that are naturally present in the problem. For example, many of the BioStim bacteria strains already exist in the drain lines, but there's not enough of them to keep up with the massive amounts of grease coming down the line. And if you're pouring stuff down the drain like we saw earlier, they don't stand a chance. So every month we add millions of these helpful bacteria to the drain lines.
So how fast will my customers see results?
Within a week, they will notice a significant reduction in odor. After the first month of service, they'll see a significant reduction in the drain flies. Well, unless the flies are coming from somewhere else, which we'll get to the other problem areas in a few minutes. Once the customer has been on the service for a few months, their drains will be flowing fast, the odor will be gone, and the grease traps will have significantly less grease.
Wow, it's like magic. But why are we doing this? We're a pest control company, and I'm a pest control salesman.
I had the same question when I started learning about bioremediation. And if you think about it, we're trained in integrated pest management, right?
Right, and grease is a major pest for our customers, not to mention a breeding ground for small flies.
Right, and that means that bioremediation is a form of integrated pest management. Monitor, prevent, control.
That makes sense. And it's a service we can do while we're already on site doing our pest control service.
And if we don't, our competitors will.
I don't like the sound of that. So what services do we provide our customer to solve this problem?
Our full bioremediation service includes a floor and beverage drain service, an automatic injection system, an outdoor grease trap treatment, and monitoring service.
Our floor drain service includes using a handheld sprayer to treat each floor drain with the BioStim drain foam. The foam contains bacteria that eliminate grease and organic buildup inside the drain lines where insects feed and breed. We also foam beverage drains under equipment as well as cracks and crevices throughout the facility as long as they aren't in traffic areas. The BioStim Microdrip injection system is the most valuable bioremediation service we offer our customers. This automatic dispenser injects grease-eating bacteria into the drain line every 14 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They immediately start consuming the grease, and by adding fresh bacteria into the drain line every 14 minutes, we ensure there are always enough healthy active bacteria to prevent blockages and backups. Finally, any grease that makes it through the drain lines in the building gets trapped here in the outdoor grease trap. The amount of grease that builds up is called the grease cap because it stays on top of the water. See, servicing the outdoor grease trap includes treating it with time-release bacteria, aerating it to ensure the bacteria are receiving oxygen, and measuring the grease cap so that we know it's below mandatory pumping levels. This is important so we can recommend pumping only when it's needed or mandated by code, rather than pumping whether it needs it or not. Pumping's expensive.
So how do we determine which services to offer our customers and what prices to quote?
We tour the facility, talk to the site manager, and record our findings on an inspection survey form. The questions on the form help us customize the service for our client. We can have the questions on the form answered by the manager. Let's go through our own this time and get the information we need.
I'm right behind you.
While we're inspecting the kitchen, I want you to keep an eye out for any drain flies you see. If you do see any, we'll have to find the source of those flies. You know, they may be coming from a particular drain line or grease buildup under equipment. Both of these issues can be solved with drain foam, and it's not uncommon to find issues like buildup under broken tiles or, in the cracks, or dirty trash cans. Flies thrive on these kinds of things.
Why would broken tiles or dirty trash cans be our problem?
Well, as you know, our customers are not pest experts. We are. So when we see flies or other insects, they just assume that the program's not working. So when we notice repairs or issues or sanitation problems that could be harboring flies or insects, we should let them know there's a problem.
Won't the customer think we're being the pest? No pun intended.
Well, that's a bad joke, but good question. The customer, they may not be aware of the problem, and this gives them an opportunity to make repairs and correct the sanitation problems that are actually causing the insect problem. You see, more importantly, if presented properly, we'll be seen as valid partners in their success. Next, we need to figure out if the facility has an indoor grease trap or an outdoor grease interceptor.
Why would that be important?
Well, the level of service we offer and the pricing depends on the type of grease trap they have and whether it's an indoor grease trap or an outdoor grease trap. Here's an example of an indoor grease trap. Now let's find a good spot for the micro-drip injection system installation. Typically, the best place is going to be the multi-compartment sink. This is where most of the grease buildup will be produced. Now, if there are other areas having blockage problems, we might want to install another micro drip. The number of meals served per day is a great guide to see how many micro drip units you'll want to install. Say a restaurant serves 1,000 meals per day, you'll want a second micro drip.
Wouldn't it be better to install it next to the dishwasher? I mean, there's got to be a lot of grease that drains out the dishwasher.
Well, the dishwasher water temperature, it's hot enough that the grease will liquefy. So it'll get about 10 feet or so down the drain line before it's cool enough to re-solidify. Plus, the discharge water, it's so hot that it might actually kill the bacteria if it's too close to the dishwasher.
Makes sense to me. So how about this spot? I mean, there's enough clearance for the doorway. It's a convenient spot for the service technician, but protected from getting knocked off the wall. It looks like the tubing will reach the drain.
Yeah, you know, that's a great spot. In addition to a convenient location, we just want to make sure that we get good results. So far, I can't see anything that would interfere with the performance, so that's the one.
That was very helpful.